yam cream for endometriosis. A few days ago, I asked for recommendations after finding out that my endometriosis had grown back only 18 weeks after my hysterectomy, and a couple of you recommended this wild yam cream.
So even though there isn't a ton of strong literature on wild yam cream application in the research, I actually get really great results with it anecdotally in practice. So I do like it and I do use it. There are a couple of ways that you can use bioidentical progesterone. They also come in many different forms. So you can get a bioidentical progesterone vaginal suppository. These options are best for somebody who has a lot of localized pain and pressure in the pelvic area. If you have adenomyosis, if you have endometriosis on or around the ovaries, it's going to be very local to that area. So that's when you might use the bioidentical vaginal progesterone suppository. This is the one that's typically used with fertility treatments as well. Another form is an oral bioidentical progesterone. Anything taken orally or inserted vaginally is going to have better absorption and bioavailability than something applied topically. That's always the case. Some people do report feeling a little bit dizzy or a little bit fatigued. Some people also report slowed bowels with an oral bioidentical progesterone form. Now, a couple things to consider with the topical creams or with any of these other options. The first is that you really want to be taking progesterone with your cycle. So my recommendation is that you start taking it 3 days after ovulation for 10 days or until you start bleeding. If you don't have a uterus, you would just use that 10-day window as sort of your indicator for how long and when you should be taking it. A topical progesterone cream or wild yam cream is unlikely to block ovulation, but really in a normal natural cycle, you wouldn't expect your progesterone to increase until after ovulation. So I just don't really understand why people would be taking it on cycle day 5 when really you should be taking it after ovulation. And then secondly, you want to be applying the cream to parts of the body where the blood vessels are very close to the surface of the skin, and that's to maximize the absorption. So some areas you might consider applying it is on the inside of the wrists, on the inside of the elbows, the back of the knees, and then you might also consider rubbing it into the inside of the thighs or in circular motions around the abdomen. And then you'll want to rotate these different spots. So if today you rubbed it into the inside of the wrists, then tomorrow you might consider the inside of the elbows, the next day the inside of the knees, and so on and so forth. So I'd love to know from you, have you tried bioidentical progesterone through prescription? Have you tried a topical cream? What was your experience like with it? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below.